Right, so I'm Judith Jones. I started working in St David's on the 5th of November 1979 as a nursing assistant. I then went on to do my student nurse training there and became a staff nurse, and then in the early 80s became a ward manager. Working on the wards, the acute wards were challenging sometimes to work in, but they were very positive environments. Some of the long stay wards were quite upsetting because some of the patients were very institutionalised. There was over 1,000 patients there when I started, and I remember working on one of the long stay wards. There were 50 ladies on that ward, and their beds were this far apart. They sat in the same chairs every day, and they didn't even know each other's names. They hardly spoke. They were very institutionalised and depersonalised. They had very few personal belongings. So that was really sad. And I remember being a student nurse on that ward. I enjoyed working there because, you know, of the patients, and I enjoyed interacting with them and building up relationships with them. And some of them were characters. They used to make you laugh. But I was very sad when I used to go home because I used to think that they were, even though they were treated with kindness, because they were of the institution, I thought they were treated really badly because they were so depersonalised. So there were two sides to that. And I think the only reason I stayed was because I thought one day I could change that if I qualified. One of the changes we made, one afternoon a week, we did continuous training with the staff. So we'd actually go up, we'd leave the ward, we'd go up to the floor above, we'd lock the office, and we left a patient in charge of one of the phones in case anyone rang the ward. Well, that caused a rumpus in the hospital. Because, you know, the patient shouldn't be answering phones, there should always be a member of staff there. But then our point was that the patients were safe at that point. We knew that someone would alert us if there was a problem, because we were only in, you know, up the stairs, short flight of stairs, and we could trust, we had to give the patients a message that we could trust them to be there. But the amount of fuss that caused was huge. The other thing we did, we got, there were lots of gardens around the ward, which was great. They were beautiful, but we were trying to get patients to do things for themselves. So we wanted to plant some vegetables in one part of the garden. So we tried to get permission for that, but it was difficult. We couldn't get permission. So we went ahead with it anyway. We dug up one of the lawns in the front of the hospital and planted potatoes. And I can't remember what other veg, but I do remember the potatoes, and the patients dug them in and everything. It was great. But the gardener got very, very upset and took it to the manager's meeting, and there was a big fuss over that. So we had to pull the potatoes up. They were only small, they were like, they got to that size. And it was very sad that we pulled them up, but it was great because we boiled them all up that night with our food. And we all ate them, patients and staff. We used to sit with the patients to eat at that point. Previous to that, we didn't. So, you know, some of our changes did cause a lot of waves